Kent Hovind to show the world that she belonged to him. He was a ring to show his flock she was his eternally. Now it's not there. He tossed it off his finger to show she's gone, and all his flock can see. Her shiny ring was once bought with all those donations. He's such a fool to us, and with grand illusions he bought worthless doctorates to impress his disciples. But Sandra's gone, and Kent removed her ring. I asked her previous husband for permission to marry her. Sandra's pastor said, "Don't let this one go. Cindy, this could have been yours. You blew it." Proverbs guy bet his son's life on this being the forever Mrs. Hovind. He swore to wear it with eternal devotion. That's why Kent sings, because she still is his.
All of them said, "Hovind, do not let this one get away." So, we got married last week. Sandra, you want to come up and become world famous? Cindy, should have been yours. You blew it.
Well, hello, everybody. Well, one person at the moment, just captive. Can you hear the Claude? If you can hear me, you can say yes in the comments. Anyway, I thought we'd just have a musical introduction to start the day. The Claude singing the famous Kent Tossed His Ring song, which is written by Claude to the tune of She Wears My Ring. And that was to commemorate the passing of Kent's fourth and so far latest marriage, although one can only wonder how long it will be before he finds someone from the cave, not the cave, someone who has come to help out in the man cave. Hello, ambushed apostate too, and also the captive desk. Yeah, so it's been a very interesting few weeks with Kent's ring finally coming off. Yes, captive. I've just noticed that. So look, I might just have a short show because I think there's a few interesting ones on, and that could be better. Well, more interest. So I suspect some of Claude's customers, not that they have gone elsewhere. Well, that's hard to know, isn't it? Look, I've been very busy doing a lot of different clips, and I found that if I do the short versions, more people bother watching them than if I just do anything that's too long. People don't have a great attention span, so that's fine. But they all have a point to them, and they should be of interest. Of course, why I called this show Is Claude obsessed with Kent was that some people say, that all I do is think about him 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. And I said, no. I think about him 365 days, but 366 in a leap year. So they underestimated the amount of time that I spend thinking about him. Yes, they're winding down, but I think PG's has started another one with TTOR, so that would probably get 2 or 3 viewers. So I never get a lot. Yeah, so some of the things I've done, Kent Hovind repents 30 or 4 times a day. I've clipped that out of an interview. He was with Stephen Boland. Kent Hovind breathes to get rid of sin. Okay, you want to watch that one. These are all less than a minute. So Kent Hovind sets the gold standard, not into bondage. So that could be intriguing. I won't tell you what that's about, but it's Ken saying that he's not under bondage. What will Kent Hovind say about his ex-wife to a future husband that she might find? Because you probably remember the story that when Kent, before Kent married Sandra, he said, one more thing, I need to speak to her ex-husband. I think he meant her latest ex-husband because, like Kent, there'd been a few had sullied the path before. Anyway, so he then just happened to drive up and, lo and behold, like in a miracle, there was her latest ex-husband standing on the porch, and they got introduced. And what was she like as a wife? Kent asks, what was she like as a wife? And do I have your permission to marry her? What? Because see, Kent does treat women as chattels, not cattle, chattels. It means property. So the guy apparently said, you won't find any better, which begged the question is how come he was an ex-husband. And yes, you have my permission. I wonder if he was actually, makes you wonder if he was actually just sort of getting rid of her in some way. I don't know. I couldn't really speculate, but it sounded a bit crazy. So what we think is that means that when Sandra finds a new man eventually, will he come and ask Kent what she was like and for permission to whatever with her. So interesting. And then the next little short was one called Kent Hovind, this one just wants to be wife. And that came from an interview where he's talking about, is this going to be the forever Mrs. Hovind? And he's asked, and he says, oh, well, I've always kept my vows. He doesn't answer the question straight. And he's actually going, yes, he's great. But you look at him and he's slightly nodding his head from left to right. Oh, that's waving his head. Yeah. Instead of nodding, which would agree with, he's doing the opposite with his body language, which is very interesting to see that. Then I've got another one, another short. Not many people watch that. Miss Stephen from PG's talking to Brett, and he says he's one of the biggest tools. It's sounded me as being quite funny. And then I've got one because Brett is sort of saying nice things again about Kent, but I've got what his real opinion of Kent is from a previous one. One that hasn't done very well was Kent schooling the Pope on taxes, and all that was, I'd heard one of the news outlets saying, the Pope might have to pay taxes. He's an American citizen, blah, 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 which is, you have to pay tax somewhere. First of all, they're assuming that he will take a salary, which he may not. But if he does, I'm sure he can also pay tax in, Vatican is an independent state. So I think they've forgotten about all these so-called tax experts. I think there's every reason that he won't take the salary, but even if he does, he can pay it back to the state of the Vatican. You have to pay tax somewhere in the world, and it's normally based on your residence. So, but anyway, I chose to put that up, the question about that, and then, of course, Kent saying that he hadn't paid tax and he hadn't, filed a return in 28 years, and there was very little chance of the IRS auditing him. It's virtually zero, and that didn't work out too well for him, did it? So I sort of made out to say he was giving the Pope advice. I got one on Kent's wacko friends and how he entertains very dubious friends, those two people with I'm going to say pedo tendencies. I don't want to use the full word or pronounce it right. I don't want to cause problems for this channel. So, but he did have those sort of friends, unfortunately, and he did entertain them at Dino Land. In fact, he said, "You're welcome anytime," to both of them, really. Another one I had that did all right was Kent was moaning about different channels deleting his comments, supposedly. And I thought that was so hypocritical because I can't comment on his. I'm now totally banned, but every time I've gone to go on, they go, is it cloudy bells? Boot him, or whatever. Dump him. I mean, it just they don't want Cloudy, as they call me, to get in. I will say, to be fair, that I did speak on Proverbs Guy's channel today, and it went actually quite well. We had a reasonable discussion, a very reasoned discussion. Initially, I didn't think they were going to let me on, but I called myself Pope Claude the First, Pope Claude the First. Yeah, I nearly said Pope Cloudy Bells, but no. And then I think they thought that was funny. So we had a bit of a discussion about evolution and the age of the universe, and hopefully I was able to counter some of the points that they were making. Maybe not. I don't pretend to be an expert in evolution or things like that. So, yeah, who knows? Yeah. But I did my best, and that's all I can say. I will just post my link in here again, just in the hope that someone might come on. So I had another. Yeah, so it was just ironic that he was complaining that some channel, about Simon Dan or something, his comments had gone from there. Mine not only don't go from there, but they won't let me on in the first place. The other one was when Kent was going on. I feel strongly about this, about, write to Trump and send him this thing about how he's innocent. Well, he's not. But, I mean, Mr. Trump might like that idea that he was a tax whatever. But what he won't like is palling around with this pedo element that Kent has palled around with. So I've said to people, no, don't send the other one, send the clips where he's dancing around on the end of a pin over Jones and Byram. I think that's one that Trump's advisors would like to see. Not that there's going to be anything happening. I mean, it's too late. The most he can get is a pardon. He can't get what he says is case overturned. He can't. That can't happen. He's exhausted all legal avenues for that. I know that for certain, with 100% certainty. The other one is it's an old one I found that someone put up, and it's about a book that he was promoting years ago before he went to the prison, and the Protocols of Zion, or some say the Elders of Zion, and that's a terrible book. And Kent was selling it at his bookstore, and it's just one of the most horrible racist books you can imagine. And guess who promoted it? Mr. Hitler. Mr. Hitler promoted it. So I thought it was very bad on Kent's part. But thank goodness that some people have preserved some of these things. So there we go. What else have I put there? I thought that was quite funny. It got quite a few views. A short Kent going on about his mother leading his father to the Lord on their first date. And I just couldn't help saying, I don't know what that means, actually. Oh, I led him to the Lord. Sort of like, is it like led to heaven? And on the first date, it just sounds a little bit off. So, yeah. Oh, there was one where I thought, the new Pope is a mathematician. He's got a proper degree in maths. And he actually speaks 5 languages or so fluently, which I think is a remarkable achievement. Most of us can only speak 1. Occasionally, some of us can speak 2, but to speak 3, 4, or in this case 5, that's a huge achievement in my view. So anyway, so I put up a clip of that the Pope had that in alongside another clip. And that other clip had Kent talking about 25% or being a third of something, 25%. So, he totally should have been a quarter. Kent's maths ability, well, between you and me, it's about as good as his evolution ability. He never achieved any greatness in math or science, and just reciting words without knowing what they mean, sine, cosine, tangent, which he does, that doesn't actually show you've learned anything. I do actually feel sorry for his students, because all they would have ever done is learn memory items, and learning memory items, there's a big difference between being able to recite something and being able to understand it. But Kent has a very, very different view of education than I do, and I think most thinking people do. Another one I had was Kent Hovind, Lord of No Ring, because, finally we spotted a week or so ago that the wedding ring had come off the finger. Once again, he hasn't said anything, but, that's another indication. Oh, well, we already have it that, that his 4th wife, Sandra, has left the building, as it were. And now Kent, after making a few sort of attempts, on Facebook of all things, sending messages on Facebook, which we could all see. Oh, come, Sandra, see the northern lights with me. All this sort of, all on Facebook. Oh, I mean, what? And then pretending that she was still there. I mean, it just, if anybody thinks, and there are some people still that Hovind is their hero, Hovind heroes, surely they're beginning to see what a buffoon the man is. I mean, I don't mind that he's Christian or not. I mind that he misleads people about science and, completely misrepresents the definition just to suit his own ends. And I find that bad. So that's why I get stuck into him. There's plenty of other people who are Christians that I don't have a problem with at all. And I think a lot of them are very genuine people. So there you go. Well, I've been talking my head off for 20 minutes or so. Well, past after the song. Is there anybody who wants to come on and speak? This is a final call from Claude. I did see truck driver Billy. I'm not sure if he calls himself that. He put up another video, and I found that very interesting. I suggest you go and look at Billy's video on Kent. The new one is new material, and it talks about a man who bought one of the properties. Kent owned a lot of property, albeit under his ministry's name or various other corporate names that he'd set up around in Pensacola. And he'd had quite a bit of a property. And when he wouldn't pay the IRS or the government fines, they sold stuff on him. And of course, Eric, his son, or one of his sons, he purchased that land. And then Kent thought he was going to get it back, but Eric had other ideas and kept it, which is great. You know, the old apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. But anyway, so what was the other? Yes. So this man who Billy was talking about had purchased another piece of land as well, used all his savings, and then he was starting to get letters from goons associated with Kent, telling him to leave the property and give it back, that it wasn't his, and blah, blah, blah. And this guy was evidently reasonably simple, sort of a character. I don't mean that, but you know, just a normal working person without huge abilities for thinking. And he took it seriously, and it worried him. And I think he eventually died. I hope it wasn't exacerbated by this. So, but he did. And I think it was just awful. And there's some thought that maybe Joe participated in that. The guy didn't get everything right, because he was talking about Kent's 4 sons. Well, no, he only has 2. And I think it's probably other goons. Yeah. Hello, Deviant. I'm about to go off unless you do want to come on, in which case I'll stay on for a bit longer. Yeah, so that was horrible. And he made this guy's life a misery. And I think it's just disgraceful. And this guy bought that property fair and square. And it was Kent had defaulted on Kent. You know, he was rightly penalized for his activities. And so he should have been. I'll argue that point with any of them anytime, with one hand tied behind my back. And I'll go with as many opponents as possible, and all at once, as long as I get half the time. Oh, I sound like Kent. I sound like Kent. That's exactly what he says. Well, exactly. That's what I was doing. I was parroting him. Deviant, I can't stay too, like I've been talking my head off. So, and I just not going to be able to go forever. And of course I have short shows. So I'll talk and I'll see how long I can go. But yeah. Oh, I did put one show up, a short, Kent Hovind saying that golf and Zelda were bad, but of course he plays tennis, so tennis was good. So the going and coming under Kent Hovind's bed, that was another one of my shorts. And his meaningless debate challenge to anybody. He doesn't mean it. When he says, he's not going to debate. I might add at the same time that these other people, some of them are very focused on this Ron Wyatt guy. And I think Ron Wyatt is one of the bigger frauds of all time. And people believe him. I mean, he's made all sorts of claims about discovering this, that, and the other. Look, I may as well say that I discovered a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But well, where is it? I've misplaced it. Oh, and I had to because the government might take it. Oh, really? And did you get to the real end of it? Yes, I did. Did you take any photos when you were there? Oh no, the film didn't get developed in the camera right. They were spoiled in the lab. All this sort of, I mean, it's just got so many excuses as to why there's no evidence there. Now, if he really has got bits of, where the original cross stood, there's some stone thing that goes around the hole in the ground. If he's got those, and Ron Wyatt's wife is using it as a doorstop, then he's guilty of taking antiquities from an archaeological site. And no real archaeologist would ever do that. Not nowadays, not in the last 50 years. That's the sort of thing people did years ago, was to plunder archaeological sites, but not nowadays. Yes, captive, I totally agree. They still cite him. It's well known he was a comment. I mean, even answers in Genesis, which is isn't anything to be proud about. Even that is an outfit that rejects Ron Wyatt's claims. Hello, Deviant.
Claude, have you muted yourself?
Have I muted? No.
Why?
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you.
I can hear you.
Is it me? Is
I
it me
can
or is it you?
Deviant. I'm going to type that into the. And you're not muted on my system.
Oops.
So it's just that you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? No. But can anyone hear me? If anybody in the chat can hear
Men
me.
för i helvete! Nu jävlar!
Yeah.
Nu blir jag förbannad.
So Speedy, oh yes, Speedy, we can be heard. So you still can't hear me, Deviant. Right, I'm going to mute and unmute you and see if that makes the difference. No?
If you can hear me, I will log out and come back in and see if it helps me.
Yes, good idea. Ah, yes, there's been lots of shows. Oh my goodness, there's some of these shows on these Christian channels that I can't believe the language I hear when I go on them. I mean, I'm no sort of what do you call it, prude, but just swearing for the sake of swearing and effing this and seeing that and all that sort of thing. Can you hear me this time? No? Can you hear? No? Yes, we could hear you in Swedish. Yeah, so I don't mean it. Look, it's just some of them, and they claim to be the Christian channels, and the stuff they're saying would even make the Claude blush, which is, takes a bit to do that. Yeah, so other than that, I've also
can
noticed.
You guys in the chat hear me?
Yeah. I'm just going to type. Someone else answer too, please.
You can order. Why can I not hear you?
Your
the
volume.
Settings are as they should.
Anyway, so Kent has been doing this Whack an Atheist, and I think it's Simon Dan, and he's really gone off the rails about Simon Dan. He's really about to bust his fufu valve.
Ja, men för i helvete nu, jävlar.
I'm the Swedish chef.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Varför kan jag inte höra vad ni säger för?
Yeah. Yes, I can't. It's just like he's just completely losing it. And he repeats what Simon Dan is in. He'll just go, no. I do feel so sorry about the kids that grow up with Kent Hovind videos as their main tutor or their teacher. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear Deviant, but Oh, she's gone out. Yeah, so it really is quite bad that Kent is just losing the plot. Oh dear. I can't. I mean, I think it won't be long before. I mean, every now and then there's another big sort of a, what do you call it, blow up at Dinosaur Adventureland, and someone gets caught doing something or wanting to take over the ministry or whatever, and then or having a shower for more than 2 minutes. Someone put up, I think Kurisu put up a stream of Kent driving around the compound in one of his Jeeps. You know, oh, please send more money for more Jeeps, by the way. And and it's on this rough road. First of all, Kent doesn't seem to have a problem making dust. You know, he hates the county dust. If the county road produces dust, he wants them to seal it, even though he doesn't pay any property taxes whatsoever, which is, guess what? Where the county gets the money from. So that really annoys me. And then the other thing is that he, here comes
Finally.
Hovind again. Right, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, right.
I can hear you.
Did you work out what had happened?
Not really.
But you restarted and it worked.
Yeah, I had to restart the headphones. So the headphones I have on now is not the usual ones I have, because those are made for like streaming, but they are too big, so I can't really move my head or they fall off. So now I have.
These ones sound very good. They sound very good.
Oh, that's awesome.
They sound better than the last.
It's happened a couple of times before. Oh, really?
Yeah, true. You are coming more clear. We could hear you all the time, including when you were swearing in Swedish. But you couldn't hear us, you know.
No.
Yes. In fact,
but you know, when everything says, "Hi, Speedy."
Yes. Yeah, so
that's
what happened. There've been a lot of shows on, which has been good. A lot of choice. I've listened to some of the Gangster Ghost ones, and that highly entertaining one where Dustin was carrying on. Oh my goodness! It's sort of, I shouldn't laugh, but it was so funny.
Was that today?
No, it was the other day. And
did he have it?
He was talking about which men he would like to do certain things to, and it was most inappropriate. But there was something funny about it. I think it's because they're all sort of so delusional. I just found it. Yeah. Peter Romans, you were there listening. I mean, it'd just be wonderful to clip the highlights out of it. It just some of the sayings that he came up with were great.
I mean, he's a true wordsmith.
He is really, yeah.
Yeah. Even when the words are kind of crude, it's still almost poetic.
Yeah, you are right. That's a very good thing. You know, there's a couple of comedians. Well, one was a well-known singer. Pianist. Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. Do you heard of Dudley Moore? He was the original Arthur in the film Arthur. The man is a brilliant musician, and he's very short, about 155 or something. And he and Peter Cook got together, and Peter Cook is sort of a very dry English comedian, and they do these tapes called Derek and Clive live, and they're the most disgusting things, but they're funny. You know, I mean, every second word is F or C or whatever, but it's the way it's done is actually quite entertaining. And It's how I sort of feel about yeah, Dustin too. He's very good, but when I listen to Lupin isn't clever. Dustin's clever.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Speedy Roman said Dudley was cool. Have you heard Dudley play the piano? Like, the guy could play anything from pop to classical to jazz. And he does a classical version. I think he worked at what Beethoven would have sounded like if he'd played Colonel Bogey March. And it's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. You would, yeah. If you wouldn't have known of him, Deviant, probably.
So I know of his name,
Yeah.
but I wasn't aware of him being a piano player. So I doubt
Yes.
I've heard him
Well,
play.
you could, after the end of the show, look up Dudley Moore and piano and wait. But when you find one of these classical ones, it is the very, very, very clever and is a brilliant musician. So, and of course, he had a very sad end. He got a disease that made him look as though he was drunk. It's one of God's diseases that God invented. And and
in his
it was
love.
like a palsy, something or other palsy, and it was a horrible, horrible way to end the life. He could hardly speak. He could hardly walk. Yeah. So, and Peter Cook is very, very clever and very too, but he's not a musician like Dudley. But you can't have everything. Well, perhaps you can. So, what have you been listening to lately, Deviant? What shows have you been on?
What shows have I been on? I have been kind of roaming the internet.
Oh, like an internet woman of ill repute.
Yeah,
Not quite.
maybe
Yeah.
not quite. Of ill repute, but still good repute.
Yes.
No, I've been on Mark Reed's
that would be
shows
interesting.
a bunch. Yeah, and also of course Kentucky Joe.
Yeah.
I'm booked up for 2 shows. One with a guy called the Shaken Fist. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
He's a British guy. Deals with contra apologetics, I would say. And he wanted to talk to me about the Hyksos and the Hyksos invasion, because there are some wackadoos, quote unquote, theories. They're not theories. About Moses actually being from that era in time, and I've heard several versions of it, and it holds water to the same amount as Ken Ham's Ark Encounter holds water, which is not at all.
Well, wait a minute. No, Ken Ham's Ark Encounter holds water when it floods, apparently.
Yeah.
To the extent that he got an insurance payout for flooding.
Right.
For flood damage. You can't make this stuff up, can you? Really?
No.
Are you going to fly over for this protest at the Ark Encounter at all?
No, I wish I could. I would love to be there, but even if you take away the cost of travel and so forth, let's say I had the money, it's not safe to go there. And even though Sweden hasn't there isn't a formal, like, we never ban anyone from going anywhere.
Yeah.
But they, what's the word? Avråda. Not discourage, but yeah. The Department of Foreign Affairs
Yeah.
basically goes out and say,
Yeah.
be mindful if you are going there. Be prepared for this and this and this and that. This and this and this and that might happen, and don't be close to like open places, closed places, places with a lot of people, places with not a lot of people. And be prepared that you might end up in a cell and be sent home.
Well, you might not even get in. A number of people having problems. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Peter.
I wanted to congratulate you, Claude,
Why?
with your fame. I mean, you you didn't realize this, but just a few minutes ago, I sent a picture to Big Bad Mama and just added someone should tell him, not even realizing that I would be the one to tell you. But yeah, you're not on Twitter, are you, Claude?
No.
No. So you haven't seen what's on Twitter right now?
No.
Let me show you.
Oh, that would be good.
Look at that.
Claude, but maybe it's a different Claude.
Trending in the Netherlands. Claude.
Oh, well.
Claude is trending in the
Netherlands.
16,500 posts about Claude in the Netherlands.
Yes. But I wonder which Claude they made. Maybe it's not the Balls one.
It must be you. It can't be another.
Right. It possibly could be.
There cannot be another Claude. There can only be one.
I just went on the Proverbs guy show. I managed to get on as Pope Claude the First.
Oh. I mean, I think you do need to get some recognition listening to Dastardly Dan of the Proverbs guys. I mean, the amount of word salad you posted from this guy. I mean,
Of course, my songwriting skills have come into, some sort of note with the "She Wears His Ring" song. I've changed the words to that.
Yes, I watched that too.
Yeah, some of the harmony is, some of the tone sort of drops off, and I slide up to a few notes, fall off them pretty quickly. But other than that, it was a lot of fun doing the song.
I mean, if you've listened to Dan talk this much, it's just sheer amazing that you can still hold a tune. I mean,
well, all I can say is I'm a bit better than Kent. But
do you? By the way, do you really think that Dan thinks that he's coherent?
I honestly don't know. I think he sort of knows that he isn't, but it doesn't stop him.
Yeah, nothing stops him.
Nothing stops him. He somehow thinks, and in the Philippines, where education isn't probably up to that much, and where people are economically beholden to more wealthy people from America, then he's a hero there. He's a hero in the Philippines.
Oh, man.
I know. It's not good, but that's unfortunately, I think, is what happens.
I mean, it's just sad that these people have to sit there and listen to him in order to maybe grab a bite to eat at the end. Yeah. I mean, the good thing you don't want to wish that on anyone.
No. But I think any conversions that has would be very, very limited and probably not going to last very long,
So what was the title of that one video you made? He talks to bewildered Filipinos.
Oh yes.
I that was an amazing piece of video. I mean, that title captured everything. You saw them looking. What the hell did we get ourselves into here?
Oh, it's like
These Filipinos must think, well, education isn't the greatest here, but this American here, I mean, he can give our education system a run for its money.
Yeah. But I tell you what, being a bit stereotypical, with the Philippines, they're very good at English and they're very good at singing. You know, so all the bands you see around, even in, like in Singapore here, all the bands, live music is pretty well Philippines dominated, and they're really good. So it's one of those cultural stereotypes, I know. But so they must know when they hear Kent singing that it's horrendous.
Yeah. Also, they are the Filipinos, at least the ones that I've met, are pretty compassionate people, which also is a skill that the Proverbs guys lack. So
yes, and of course they don't that because they're so polite as well. But like Japanese, they don't want to say no, so they yes. So they're always very polite. So.
Yes. Yeah, they're at least the ones that I've met. All of them are very nice people.
But at least we know Dan is a hero in the Philippines.
A hero in his own mind.
Well, and the people he takes money over to for their missions,
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from Dan for a while, and of course, last week I don't think his show actually ran. He's always going to do a show, and it never actually happened. I was ready to go on and talk about beaver dams and all that sort of stuff that he's an expert in, and no, didn't even happen. So.
Beaver dams.
Oh, they made some statement about the biggest beaver dam in the world and blah blah blah, and showing how good God was, and there was an argument developed about that it's somehow bigger than the Hoover Dam, and of course it's just rubbish. It might be longer, but
for me there's a completely different connotation with that. So when I was about 14, my mother took on a job in the local grocery store, and that store was owned by a man called Mr. Beaver Dam. Not kidding. A true story.
Like it's a Dutch name, Beaver Dam, Holland
Beaver
Dam, or Volendam, or yeah. Was he bearded man himself?
No. And
so it was a shaven Beaver Dam. Yeah.
Yeah. He was also a very unfortunate man, because when I think I was 4. I got to ride with him in his brand new Audi, and I managed to write the car off before we even got anywhere, because it was one of the first automatics, and I managed to crawl across the floor of the car, hit the car in drive, and then pushed with my hand on the gas pedal and rammed the house.
And how old were you?
Also a true story. First car I totaled. I was 4.
4.
Yes.
Oh wow.
How many has it been since?
That has been the only one.
Okay.
Luckily enough. Yeah, I never repeated that. I also never got to ride with Mr. Beaver Dam in his new Audi again. So There was that.
Davey says that a beaver dam visible from space. Yes, I think it is, because space, depends how high you go. But it still wasn't, I think when you calculated out the actual area of it, it still wasn't like the Hoover Dam, but it was quite long. Yeah. But, they try and use all these arguments to show that there's a God, and just falls down. In fact, I was on
It's a very
Proverbs Guide.
strange argument.
Proverbs Guide were trying to lead me into, I don't know whether to put this up or not, but I already have, so I'll only leave it up for a little bit. I shall now take it off. Proverbs guys are trying to, in fact, it was Brett was trying to get me to say, you could tell he's leading me down a path, and then it's meant to be a gotcha moment at the end. But I'm sort of, most of us are too smart for that. I said, I think you're leading to something else, and you're going to, and he said he was. Well, no, don't try that crap on me, Yeah.
I wish I saved it. A few days ago, someone on Twitter posted a picture and said the beavers are evolving, and it showed a beaver dam where someone had stuck a pole with a satellite dish on top of it. So it looked like the beavers had this satellite dish in the middle of their dam. It was pretty good, though. Something I would do given the chance.
Yeah. So now, for you people, it must be fairly late in the evening. Is that right?
Oh, it's early in the morning. It's 10 to 5.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's sunny as if
Deviant
it was in the day.
Deviant doesn't sleep.
Right.
Deviant's
Well, I try.
always awake later than I am.
I am beginning to have a bit of an issue with allergies. I can feel it now when I'm talking. I feel all stuffy, but that's also because a week ago everything here was just brown and gray, and I almost lost all hope. Not really. Oh, power off.
Yeah, that's my sound bar, because I'm wearing headphones and I forgot to turn off my sound bar. And then this woman turns it off for me and tells me that the power's off.
Oh.
No, and now there are, the leaves are small. It's not like spring green, but it's getting there.
Well, you don't need a very big leaf to cover your beaver dam.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Mostly because we don't use leaves for that, I think.
What do you think of this nonsense that Kent's been peddling? Because he's so desperate to be anti-alcohol that, in the Bible, it was really just grape juice. What a load of bullshit.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, the reason why there was alcohol was that, the water was crap. So fermented, you tend not to get sick on it. It might have been a lower volume alcohol, but to say it was grape juice, it's just absolute bullshit.
Yeah, that's...
And of course, otherwise, there are instances of people getting drunk in the Bible. Well, how did they get drunk? On grape juice? No. Gee, it just drives me crazy, that bullshit.
So,
and
Jesus.
It's historical revisionism.
And Jesus didn't turn water into grape juice; he turned it into wine.
Turned it into
and it was
wine.
Alcoholic wine. and
then was completely confused that someone else turned it into grape juice again.
Yeah. And you know what? There was nothing wrong. Everything in moderation. In fact, they say a glass of red wine a day is good for the, Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, people lived to 900 in those days. Must have been because of the wine. Yeah.
I think that might be the thing.
Animals were vegetarian. You just can't make this shit up.
Well, Kent
apparently
can.
they can. Yeah. You listen long enough to Kent, everything can be made up.
Yes.
But I get the feeling that he's becoming more and more desperate, because as of late, he started to he started to go after people that he hasn't, in this whacking atheist, that he hasn't been whacking in quite the time. Like he's tried Seth Andrews, Matt Dillahunty, Aaron.
He's becoming irrelevant, and now
Yeah.
he's trying to get some big names in order to, maybe in hope, piss off the right one so they'll give him some attention.
Yep.
I know Arn has made a few videos about him, not mentioning his name. Just talking about him as an apologist. So that must piss him off.
His wife left him.
Yeah.
His store left him.
His store?
Oh, she took the store when she left.
Yeah. She took the store because he had written it in her name. Most likely to quote unquote hide assets because of the dispute.
I know. With Cindy, he put several things in her name just in case Cindy would be successful. And now that has come back to bite him.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, I think.
Right. And he's been trying to advertise for more women to DAL.
Mm-hmm.
Not for him, of course. No.
Well, he'll still have first pick if some get there.
I really hope no one is.
Well,
what am I saying? Of course, there are people who will still go for his grift.
I can't wait till Sandra meets someone and that person has to go to Kent to ask what Sandra was like. And if he has their permission, to marry him. Oh, yes, well, she was the best ever. You won't find a better woman.
Yeah. Just don't put anything in her name.
And yes, you have my permission. Well, actually, he got out of it cheap. She was with him for 4 years? If she took $16,000 of the donations with her, it's only $4,000 a year for putting up with Kent. I think it's a bargain,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so they still had the donations page, which also was linked to her PayPal account.
Yes, well, look, it's a history. Years and years of people siphoning off the donations. I don't know why these clowns give them any money at all. If it wasn't, the Steve, the tech guy, that original Steve, that he was taking it. They were all getting down on the money, different ones since.
Mm-hmm.
Randall or someone was accused of taking money. Then it wasn't going to the right bank account, and then you had to phone Sandra to make sure. And then suddenly Sandra's gone, and then you have to contact the current secretary to make sure that the money's going there. And then when that all falls apart, you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to see that there are problems everywhere, because I don't know if any of you follow AIG, but so AIG
Yeah.
has just recently removed every single article that Bodie Hodge wrote, Bodie being the son-in-law of Ken Ham.
Oh.
And
Oh.
Ken Ham has stepped down as CEO and put someone forward. And before we could become CEO, he was fired from the whole thing. So there's a whole lot going on there as well.
What are
So-
they? It must be to do with a woman or an animal. There'd be two things. They either got caught with the
It's
goat
money.
or someone else. Oh, really?
It's money. I mean, Ken Ham raked in, I think, about anywhere between 1 and 2 million a year, and he had his family in strategic positions, so they all made a ton of money. When Ken quit being a CEO, Bodie Hodge was completely removed from any positions already, and started doing his own things. He was no longer in AIG videos. So there's a whole lot going on. There's a tug for the money grab there as well.
Maybe that's why Kent is going to that Ark encounter protest.
I have no clue. Today I had the dumbest atheist, by the way, who came into Arn's side chat and said that Kent Hovind had given the family of a boy who died at one of his parks a lifetime pass. And then he said, I don't recall whether the boy died at the Creation Museum or the Ark Encounter. And I told him, you're so full of shit. First of all, there's no lifetime pass to anything Kent Hovind does because it's free. You don't need a pass. Second of all, he didn't offer that to the family. Third of all, the parks you listed aren't even Kent Hovind's, they're Ken Ham's.
Yes. Got the entire
And fourth of all, the one who did something for the boy was the family who donated this. What's the Lusthus?
The gazebo.
The gazebo, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What Ken did is he accompanied the family to the hospital and then started handing out flyers for Dinosaur Adventureland and invited everyone to come there because the boy's family had such a great time there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they lost a kid, but I mean, you can make new kids, can't you?
That's what he said. That's how insensitive he was.
Yeah.
Robert says that he's heard that Sandra's MO, I think, is that modus operandi, is to have a man in waiting. And she likely had one already when she left Kent. Well, I can't blame her, because I think overall she was a reasonable person. I don't get stuck into any of his wives because I know love is blind, And eventually she came, the blinders were removed from her eyes. So if she's found someone else, then that's great. Yeah.
The moment I saw her, I thought this one isn't going to leave quietly when shit hits the fan. And I was right.
Well, we only know about it because Joseph, his current tech guy, was a bit indiscreet whilst on a show of Gangster Ghost, actually, and he suddenly blurted it out under questioning from the Claude. Oh, wow. Sandra left and she took 16K and she took the store, but I'm not going to say anything more than, and it was so funny because who was it that came on and then said, Dustin came on and said, just want to remind you, you weren't going to talk about that. It was so funny. The timing was impeccable. Someone, Tim Hunter says, love would have to be blind and deaf if they go to Kent.
Yeah.
Blind and tone deaf as well. Not just deaf. He's such a. Somebody said to me, Claude, you're obsessed with Kent. You think about him 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. And I said, no, you're slightly wrong. In a leap year, 366 days of the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sandra hooked up with Brody. I don't think so, somehow. Brody, no. But, good, I mean, I hope she has I hope kids' exes all have happy lives, because by God, through having to be with that man, he's never wrong, We all know that. There's one where Proverbs guys ask him 10 things 10 questions that he didn't see coming, and one of them is, what have you had to repent for recently? And he doesn't actually answer it directly. It's like as though he'll say, oh yes, I sin all the time. Well, name one, and he won't say anything. So he's full of it. He thinks he's perfect.
Well, he's whacking off guys all the time, so there is that.
Yes. In about 5 or 6 minutes, I'm going to have to wind up because I have to go out. But so if there's anything people want to talk about as well, and next time, come on at the beginning of the show, because I was sitting here talking to myself for quite a while.
I have to say I can't really complain about you this time, Claude, because you did send out an email in good advance, and that was good. Unfortunately, I didn't see the email until.
Of course, we're different time zones. That's fine.
Yeah, but I very much appreciate when there is a bit of forewarning for.
Foreplay.
Yeah,
Peter, have you been back on Mod Show at all, or are you still not?
No. So first of all, I don't have time anymore. I've taken on 2 more channels where I'm going to produce. So I think that's the end of my free time. So
yeah,
but that I love the work that I do, and I love the people that I get to meet. This week we did was the second show with the director of the NCSE, Amanda Townley, and she's a fantastic woman to talk to. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I do have a tip for everyone.
Yes.
Because so when the name Kent Hovind comes up, there's one documentary that's pretty much the best Kent Hovind documentary, and that's by McKinnon Mitchell.
Oh yes.
McKinnon Mitchell is working on a new piece. So if you ever are not subscribed to McKinnon Mitchell's YouTube channel, you should, because there is something coming.
And you know what I like about McKinnon is that he gets his facts right. Because I listen to other, and I think it's great, all these ones getting into Hovind. But when they get some basic stuff wrong, it pisses me off, because it's not hard to get it right. And you don't need to exaggerate to attack Kent. Just truth is enough. So it's great. Will it be a Hovind related one, do you think?
No.
I wanted to be that.
Is the one he was working on before? Is that one?
No. This is an entirely new one. But
cool.
I've seen a still, and I can't wait until it comes out. So, and the only reason I know is because I am about to have McKinnon on my channel debating a creationist, which is something he really liked to do. So I said, I'm more than happy to have you on. And he said, well, I'm just finishing up my latest project, so you'll have to wait a few days, maybe even longer.
So yeah.
But yeah. I love McKinnon's style, and as you said, when it comes to making a documentary, he makes sure that what he will tell people is actually true,
Good.
and he has the ability to dig up more than anyone else has ever done. I mean, he got Joe Hovind to talk to him, and she still sends him Christmas cards and birthday cards to this day.
Oh,
So
Could he try for Sandra? I would like to have her side of the story told a bit. Oh, Big Bad Mama! If you want to come on, get your ass on now because we're going to finish soon.
Yeah. BBM, if you have checked Discord, I beat you to it. I've already told Claude.
Hi, Big Bad Mama, I miss you so.
Oh, what a lovely song from the Swedish songbird. You know, if you take the first three letters of Sweden, I'll pipe it out. Sweden, I'm putting it in a thing, and then Denmark. Okay. Now, so I put that up. Now, the first three letters of Sweden and the last, and the first three letters of Denmark spell Sweden.
Yeah, but only in
SWE
English.
And then DEN.
But only in English, and English doesn't count.
And then if you take the last three letters of Sweden, DEN, and add the last three letters of Denmark, MARK, you've got Denmark.
You are very cunning. I can see that you are very proud of this, and I will try to be blown away.
Try and be blown away, please.
Claude, there's another fun fact. Do you know why Sweden puts barcodes on their warships?
No. Why does Sweden put barcodes on their warships?
So they can Scandinavian.
Oh, that's quite good, actually. I do like that. Yeah, Claude approves. It's a Claude.
I stole that from Creaky Blinder. That one. I mean, he tells a dad joke at the end of every video. This one had me rolling on the floor laughing.
Yes, I think that's quite good. I do like that. I do like the Swedish people, though, you know, Swedish chef and all that.
Yes.
Out of all the Swedish people you know, you choose the Muppet.
I know.
Literal Muppet.
Well, but, you know, my very favorite, well, and you people don't know of him anymore, but Mr. Jussi Björling is
of course
my
I know of
favorite
Jussi
Swedish
Björling.
artist. Yes.
Of course I know him.
Just super. That man kicks ass, as they
Yes,
say.
sir.
That man is an Pavarotti, idolized Jussi Björling. So that shows you how good he is.
Yes, sir.
Jussi Björling.
I need to jump off. I have a bit of a headache.
It's all right. We're not worried. We're not worried if you've got a headache, as long as we haven't. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But I am about to wrap the show up anyway because Big Bad Mama is not coming on. Yes.
Before you leave, Deviant, can I share with you my favorite Sweden thing?
Yes, of course.
In 1975, the Eurovision Song Contest was held in Sweden.
Yes.
Do you know who won it?
Well, it wasn't ABBA because ABBA won before that.
ABBA won the year before.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yes.
And did you know? That two of the people in that band were personal friends of mine?
I did not.
Yes, John Gaasbeek and Getty Caspers, who was the singer. And the group's name was Teach-In, and they practiced across the street from where I lived at the time.
Cool.
See, that's my favorite Sweden fact.
That is awesome. I'm quite impressed.
See?
I'm very impressed too. Well, I don't know who the French winners were. But we do have
Have there
some.
been French
Have they-
winners?
I was going to ask, have they? I think they might. No.
I honestly don't know if the French ever won.
I don't. Yeah, they have won 5 times.
Well, I don't think-
1958, 1960, 1962, 1969, and 1977.
We've had other singers. We've got Edith, of course, is the perhaps very best known female one. France Gall. Did you know her? France Gall.
France Gall, yes.
Yes. She's sort of
She was-
speak singer. Yeah, she's very cute. She's unfortunately has died. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
She did a song Le Poupée about a doll. It's sort of an annoying song.
Did
and she sort of
she
sings
win?
it. She would. No. She just.
No, okay.
Oh no. I'll type the name and you can look up her as well. So her name.
Mhm.
Yeah, and at the age of about 18, she had a big success. But the song "Look Up," that should. Anyway, drives me crazy. I don't like. I love to hate the song. Okay, we're going to wind it up and say goodbye
Yes.
to everybody. And thank you for all participating. And we'll do another show. And at that one, come on at the beginning, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
And-
What does Davey say? My college days is a band called The Urge. The lead singer, Tries Noah. Oh. I
Who
think
is
Kent has been
Francis
to a
Noah?
band called The Urge by what I've seen him up to lately. The end of Sci-Fi Sports. But we won't go any further with that.
No.
Bye,
let's
Peter. Bye, Deviant. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Keep Claude trending.
I will.
Keep Claude trending.